Okay, I was speaking to Steve Tanner at Time Bomb Comics. Steve, since last time I spoke to you, you've got a lot of new comics coming out. I think the last time I was speaking to you, I got London's Calling, and actually, funnily enough, since I've actually interviewed Stephen Welch, who wrote that, so it's been quite a journey. So what new books you got out at the moment?
Our new book out, which are out this weekend, is The Last Ride of Henry Holden, which is a western. So it's a complete western in 56 pages, nice full colour story, and it's a very kind of, I guess in the style of something like Deadwood. So it's kind of a tale of redemption set in the Old West. That's written by a new writer called Alex De Grucci, with art by a penciler in Italy called Giorgio Iannotti, and ink by Mike Bunt here in the UK. So this is our latest one. We've got, you mentioned London Calling, so we've actually got another book by the London Calling team due out February next year, called Squadron of the Damned. And it features Charlotte Corday, who was in the first book. And I guess the best way to describe it would be a sequel that's not a sequel. It starts off with a lost German U-boat surfacing in someone's bathtub, and from there it gets strange. Okay, so that's probably the best way to describe that.
As if a U-boat surfacing in someone's bathtub isn't strange enough, it gets stranger than that.
Definitely. So looking forward to that. We've got some more Dick Turpin currently being developed.
Which is a Kronos type, yeah?
We got Kronos City was that's a full colour urban fantasy, which was we launched in May earlier this year, and that's basically it's about a private detective who works in a city where the river that flows through the city is a river of time, and his skill is that he can actually read the time stream. So that's how he solves his cases. So it's a very interesting take, and over the next 12 to 18 months, we've got about 5 or 6 books in various stages of development coming out. So we've got the new Keith Page Squadron of the Damned, which I just mentioned. We've also got a couple of stories featuring Vikings. One is a purely historical story, which is to do with the Battle of Malden, and the other one is it's a story set in the modern day times, and it's basically the story of a man's funeral. It's about a man who gives his father a traditional Viking funeral on top of a mountainside. It's a very kind of very simple, very heartwarming story. So very different to the stuff we've put out in the past.
Well, I think the Dick Turpin one I bought off you last time was The Restless Dead. So the new one's Crimson Plague.
Yeah, well, I was saying, that's been out now over a year, interesting enough. In fact, I think we launched this one at last year's Thought Comic, so it has been a year. I mean, the Crimson Plague is basically the same characters from the first book, Dick Turpin and Tom King, but this time they're in London, and they find themselves up against a nest of vampire prostitutes. So
sounds like my kind of book.
Yeah, so that's been received very well. I mean,
all you need to say is nest of vampire prostitutes. I'm sold.
But no, it's pretty much what it says on the tin. It's again very similar to the first Dick Turpin story. It's a real kind of full throttle adventure romp, a real historical romp. And again, it's been very well critically received. We've had lots of favourable reviews on it, lots of good feedback from the people that bought the book and enjoyed it. And needless to say, we've got more Dick Turpin in the pipeline.
Yeah, so do you write Dick Turpin, or is that?
Yeah, Dick Turpin is the one that I write. Yeah.
We're going to have to get you on the podcast properly one of these days, so we can do a proper interview.
Well, you're more than welcome to do that.
So, I enjoyed your first Dick Turpin, and it was funny actually because I was talking about it to a couple of American friends, and they're going, Dick, Dick. Never heard of Dick Turpin. They've heard of Robin Hood, but never heard of Dick Turpin. It's crazy.
That's right. I mean, and what's interesting enough, it's very much, it seems to be a generational thing as well, because I notice that people of my generation, pardon me, are familiar with Dick Turpin, because of the television show in the 1970s featuring Richard O'Sullivan.
Yep. With that catchy theme tune. Da, 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 da.
That's exactly right. So what I find as well, that a lot of people now who are maybe in their 20s and younger, they don't know who Dick Turpin is either. So it's quite interesting that some people when they see they say, oh, Dick. I think we actually trailed the rest of the stadiums. We had a flyer which basically said Dick's back, and that caused lots of amusement in certain quarters who didn't know that Dick was actually a real character.
Oh dear. But you know, it's crazy the innuendo associated with that. But I like that cover.
Yeah, it's a beautiful cover. It's by the art is by Graham Howard on the cover. But Graham Howard does all the interior black and white art. But it's coloured by a lady called Rebecca Laber, who was in Germany. She's a fabulous artist, a fabulous colour artist. She actually coloured the cover of Henry Holden as well. And I think again it's a spectacular cover art she's done there, especially the clouds with the rays coming through the clouds. She's a really talented colour artist. I keep trying to get her to commit to doing something a bit longer rather than just colouring cover images, but at the moment she's building her own house, so that's taking priority. She's very talented.
Well, thanks a lot, Steve. It's been great speaking to you again.